If I can feel my beard hair, just stroke it.
Please tell me that's recording. Oh.
See, that's just that. It's the
That's
tease.
going to be a reel, you know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're very weird. Welcome to the Tip to Skills podcast, where we discuss running and growing your law firm. I'm your host, Maria Monroy, president and co-founder of LawRank. Today, I am joined by Bob Simon, who was actually our first guest ever. If you don't know Bob Simon, I don't know, you're hiding under a rock. You should follow him, Planet Fun Bob on Instagram. We talked about Law-Di-Gras, which is actually my favorite conference ever. And I know I don't get paid for saying that. We talked about trivia shows that he was in, and we played Two Truths and a Lie. I hope you guys enjoy it. We want to offer our listeners an exclusive deal. Right now, you can visit lawrank.com/report to get a free competitor performance report. The report will include your top 5 digital competitors and how they're performing in your market, how you measure up to your competitors in the top 3 metrics, and that is referring domains, content, and monthly traffic, and a local SEO report. And this is a visual, it's a map, and this is tracking your Google business profile, and it's going to show you how you rank within a 1-mile radius. Again, all you have to do is go to lawrank.com/report. We will also be putting this in the show notes. You were the first guest.
I know.
You remember?
Yeah, we were at Law-Di-Gras, and you pulled me aside in a small conference room that wasn't being used.
Yep. We didn't have video or anything.
Your little radio kit.
I actually called you before I launched the podcast.
I know.
And I was like, should I do it? And you're like, yes, you should. I was like, will you be my first?
See how successful it is, and people just want to reach out to you to be on it and things. Yeah. We're launching, I think actually today or tomorrow, we're doing the Justice Team Network. So we're starting a media network that has everybody's shows on one platform.
That's awesome.
So on the Apple channel, you can get I'm doing one called, Bourbon Proof, I do Justice Team podcast, but now one called The Consultation, where we just literally walk clients through what it's like to talk to a lawyer.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We'll add other people's shows too and just blow it up.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you have going on?
Everything and nothing at the same time.
No, you have everything going on.
I'm big into software lately, so we're having a product launch. We're here in late August, but this is launching in October 2023.
Okay.
I think it'll change the entire landscape of how people practice law. On top of that, our firm is expanding. My law firm's now in Arizona and Texas. A few of my partners moved out to those states. That's rocking and rolling. I'm doing a lot of traveling because for the platform we're going to launch, we need to have the best lawyers on both ends of our marketplace to be able to make it work. Yeah. So meeting people, making sure they're neither crooks nor creeps so that they can apply and be approved by the rest of the members.
How many people are you declining?
Dude, it's rapid. And people get mad at me too. And I feel bad because some people I know or I'm friends with, and, what the fuck, man, I got rejected. Well, it's not my call. I think one thing that lawyers fail to do well is networking.
You're so good at it.
Yeah.
You're the king of networking. And
that's because it's intentional. And I do love it. I love people.
Do you?
I do.
I hate people.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to go, I could get a little burnout in the middle of a conference. I could just go hide in my room for a little bit and chill, decompress, get work done.
Some deep burnout after that dinner yesterday. I came here and I was like, fuck, I'm going home.
It's a lot of energy because you're also running logistics. When you're doing an event, you're also doing everything else, and that's exhausting.
Yeah, even getting everyone a fucking Uber was
it's an ordeal. It's like literally corralling children, drunk children.
I wasn't drinking. I think if I had been drinking, it would have been more doable.
No, but people, when they go, well, I'm going to this conference, it's like, well, what's your plan? Why are you going? Who do you want to talk to? What are you looking to get out of it? You have to have your set deliverables of.
Damn, I don't do that.
You should.
I just run around.
Oh, what I used to do when I was a baby lawyer, when I would go to these things, is I would, instead of vision boards, before I knew what a vision board was, I would literally pick out the people that I wanted to be around, be mentored, or to learn from, or get cases from, and I would learn things about them. So I would intentionally put myself in front of them, and I'd make myself a little lookbook so I remember what they look like, remember some things about them I keep in my hotel room. Then you'd find a commonality, but it was a commonality that I had predetermined that we had, brought up in casual conversation, and then you always get their contact info rather than giving yours, so you control the conversation later, so you can text them or you can hit them back. Yeah. But people that just go, well, you're just wasting your money if you don't have a reason.
But what do you do if you're a super shy person and you get social anxiety?
If you're super shy and have social anxiety, well, then social media is the perfect tool for you to slide in somebody's DMs and be a virtual friend.
Do you respond to people when they DM you?
I almost always respond to people on social media.
Almost always. Who don't you respond to?
people who have fake accounts.
Oh,
No, I must always like engage, and just see, unless it's some person that's just a taker.
oh, can we talk about that?
I hate that. And all they do is ask for favors and advice all the time. Like there's no boundaries.
Well, there are givers and there are takers. And I think givers have to be really careful with takers.
This happened a few times. People trying a case, and it's like their first case. I'm helping them with everything, like for free. Like I'm telling them how to do their cross-examinations. They call me after trial every day, the day before. I map stuff out for them, and then they get a good result. And then they never mentioned that I helped them. I was like, are you fucking kidding? I'm a busy person, and I did this to help you. And then what happens next time? Oh, I have another case coming up. Can I ask you for help on that one? It's like, what the fuck? You didn't even say,
That's really fucked up.
But this happens a lot, way more than you think.
I'm sure it does.
And it's just very frustrating. It's like, at least say that, like, I helped you, or just say, hey, shout out to Bob for like being there for me on the phone. That's all that I ask. And it's just, don't take.
No.
And offer nothing in return.
There's a balance. And if you only take, I think the universe is just not going to give.
You end up taking it in the ass.
Yeah. I mean,
universe will get you.
It will. When are you opening a Justice HQ in Florida?
Sooner than you think, but it will be different than we do in Southern California. I think the vision is going to be that we start local chapters or local communities that decide for themselves how they want to do it. What we found is the office space solution is valuable to some lawyers, but most of them, it's not what they care the most about. Most of the people want the mentorship, the community aspect. Our chat boards are out of control every day, and they're all segregated for people who just want help and mentorship.
It's such a lonely world. I mean, thank God for social media now, but I do think it's very lonely to be a law firm owner.
Yep. Just having people's profile photos or being able to use emoticons. It's just different. It's a different feel. You feel like you know somebody. It's just not like you're texting them, but to see their face and see them respond on the chat boards, it's like you're communicating with somebody.
Do you guys use Slack or it's an internal? Okay.
I love Slack.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I need to add you.
Oh, God, I have 10 companies on Slack right now. I'm in a Slack group where it's all of the big legal influencers. They invited me into it. Alex Sue, Matt Margolis. They're the funniest people on.
Really?
But they're all heads of community at big legal tech companies. Not our space. They're not PI centric, but you see their stuff. And it's just interesting to see how lawyers outside of personal injury and employment cases, how they view the world, showing them how they can monetize their position on the market.
How do they view the world?
I think they're severely undervalued. You know, Litigation God, you ever seen that account?
Yes.
Okay, so I know who runs that, and he's anonymous, but I found out who he is, and like we talk here and there.
Not like GossipLawyer, who everyone knows
who GossipLawyer is. You know, people think that I'm GossipLawyer. Have you heard this? Yeah, there's a lawyer that thinks that I'm GossipLawyer, spreading all these lies about him. He actually sent me a cease and desist.
But you're not. I know who.
I'm not. I know shit.
Lawyer.
No shit. But he
and GossipLawyer is very open about.
I know.
It's not a secret.
It's not a secret. One gal, she's huge in HR, and she's just refers people employment cases. She gets called all the time because she does like HR on scale for helps companies. She's a lawyer, does that, and she told me like, I was like, what do you do with those cases? I go refer to a few lawyers here and there that I'm friends with. Well, so what your referral fee? She's like, what do you mean referral fee?
You're kidding.
I know. You know, you've left millions of dollars on the table. And she's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, because I sent a case and the guy kept asking me what fee I wanted. I was like, what do you mean what fee? And she never got back. The case settled for $5 million. And I was like, do you realize you lost $1 million?
That sucks.
But that's the position, because you can help a lot of people because they're very good at what they do. And then by partnering with the best lawyer and doing it automatically and tracking it, that's how I think you win the game. And lawyers that are really good at what they do can be really good at what they do and don't have to worry about competing in this very competitive market spend. You know?
And this is actually ideal for all the social media, like Top Dog. And I don't know if you've spoken to Law by Mike. They must generate so many cases from everywhere because it's social media. It's not SEO, which is so geo-modified.
That's it.
Okay, can we talk about Law-Di-Gras?
Love to talk about Law-Di-Gras, which is sold out.
It's sold out.
I know, quickly. And a lot of people were mad. I kept telling people for months, you guys better book, because
I booked 5 rooms.
Oh, you did? You should. There's a lot of, like, Mara's mad because there's a whole bunch of people that don't have a room. We haven't even announced who the headliner is. Usually we do it early just so people will buy tickets. You know who it is, yeah. But yeah. And it's crazy to see the amount of people. So what's different this year is we're doing the Law Rank track, which the biz dev.
Yes.
And it's something I've been wanting to do since we started Law-Di-Gras, because I'm passionate about helping lawyers from starting their firms till monetization at the end, however it's going to be. So the coolest thing this year is literally have the best people, I think, in the country between a few of our brains, recruiting them to come teach everybody.
That was so much work. I can't imagine everything else that goes into a fucking conference.
I know.
Because this was one thing and I was so overwhelmed that I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
It's a different animal because it's an outdoor festival. So you're dealing with weather stuff, lighting, you're putting on a concert on top of it.
I'm so excited.
I know. It's so much fucking fun.
Please don't wear a suit.
I know.
Type of conference.
I get offended if people wear a suit to one of these things.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
I mean, unless you're speaking, I get it. If
Even if you're speaking, who cares?
No, if you're speaking, I wear a suit. I wear suits when I speak, or something like business, attire.
T-shirt, flip flops, really nothing fancy.
No, okay. Let's not
It's
get
like
crazy.
you're home talking to your family.
Let's not get crazy. And you're bringing the girls.
All the girls are coming. Wife and 3 little girls all coming. They love it.
I can't wait to.
I was telling somebody this last night. This is the last Law-Di-Gras. So I told my daughter, she's 4 at the time, Remy, if you see me talking to anybody, just come up and say, Daddy, I got to go potty. That's like the code word.
Did it work?
Oh, yeah, it was working. But then she did it once to somebody I wanted to talk to, and she kept saying, I was like, Remy, I actually like this person. Like, we can continue this conversation. And she kept doing it. And then she's like, but Dad, I really got to go potty.
So it was for real?
It was for, then she peed her pants. No, just kidding. She just wanted to keep the joke going.
That's really cute.
Yeah, kids are very good.
Okay, if they do that to me, I'm going to know. I'm going to call you out.
You should call me out on that.
I plan on it. I just want to meet Poppy.
She's the funniest child ever.
Pantry Poppy is my favorite. Like, I'm going to bring snacks.
You should bring snacks.
I'm going to. I'm going to bring snacks. And then, I have a couple things I want to do.
She likes to read Green Eggs and Ham every night now. So I had to read it to her last night, even though I'm here. Good on the FaceTime with her.
I know. I thought you left dinner. I'm like, where the hell?
Oh, no, I was reading.
And then you come back. You're like, I was reading Green Eggs.
She loves that book because I do the 2 different voices for the people. And she thinks it's so funny.
Oh.
And then she knows the words.
Wait, so
She's
how do
3.
you do it? Go. Why don't you run us through that?
I will not eat them I will not eat them here. I will not eat them there. I will not eat them anywhere, Sam. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them on a train? Like, I do a very high pitch for the other little guy. And she thinks it's so funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, and if I don't do the high pitch, she's like, no, Daddy, not like that. I said, all right.
That's really...
How about here in the dark? In the dark? Would you eat them in the dark? Not in the dark. Not on a train.
We were reading The Giving Tree the other day. And have you read it?
No.
I always cry every fucking time.
Then why are you reading it?
Because my son was reading it and then he's like, I don't understand why you're crying. You'll be an adult when you understand why it's such a beautiful book. And he was like, I don't get it. And they just like stare at me. Now they just want to trigger
emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
How has the transition been to 3?
A lot easier than people say it is. I mean, it is now because our youngest just turned 1 2 weeks ago. But the first 6 months were very difficult. She was colic. She had a lot of issues. And my wife, God bless her, figured out all these. She had a shallow palate. She had a lip tie, acid reflux. She had a milk protein allergy. My wife had to figure all that stuff out. And then she got better. It was just like a different baby.
Same exact thing with Chloe.
Oh.
I told Christine, this is literally the exact same thing I went. So I already knew the milk component because my other kids had it. But it's crazy. Like they release, and then if you do cranial sacral therapy.
Yep, it's the same thing.
Literally different children.
Yep, different.
Crying nonstop, can't get them to sleep. To all of a sudden, they're like perfect kids.
I know.
It's so weird.
And you think about that as a human being, what little things that you can adjust or that change to make you a different human. You know, I'm 43 and my wife's 41. It's like, but we have 3 daughters. We're super healthy. Why not be preventive? So we went to, actually the Rowleys turned it on to us and a few other folks. There's this clinic in Denver that you go to. It's called the Boone Heart Clinic and then something called Resilience Code, which
I really want to go. I saw that you posted.
We just went through all of our blood work, all the reports. They do all these scans.
Do they do like an MRI or anything like that?
They'll do CTs. They'll do the MRIs if they see something in your blood that triggers the MRI because they don't want to waste to do something like that. They do the brain scans. Not an MRI, but they'll check every artery. They'll do your carotid arteries, your legs. I mean, everything. They do stress tests.
What did you find?
I mean, found them very healthy.
Even with all your drinking?
That's what I asked them 5 times, check the liver again. And they said, it looks fucking amazing. And I said, can I still have 2 to 3, maybe more drinks a day? Yeah. There's nothing stopping you. There's little things you could do now just to be preventative.
Like what?
There's a drug called Repatha, one of the best drugs you can be on. And all it does is help clear out the plaque in your arteries throughout your system, just in preventive mode. But it has all these other side effects.
Any downsides?
They say none. I had to do some screening stuff to be able to get my insurance to approve it. But everybody I know that has been through this clinic, they say they're a different human being.
Really?
Yeah, because they just find little things that they can change and that off. They do like stress tests, mental wellness stuff, all that kind of thing.
Oh, I'm fucked. They're going to be like,
Yeah.
you're a ball of stress.
My stress was so low.
How do you do that though? Because you don't meditate or anything like that, right?
No,
But it's just your personality.
I thrive off of it. I love stress. That's a sickness.
But see, I like stress too, but it's like I do feel the stress.
Yeah. The only times that I feel it is whenever a million people are asking me questions at the same time. It's like, fucking chill. Like, I'll get one at a time.
I start ignoring people.
If you have a problem, start to think of the solution.
Right.
Yeah. Just come to me.
Well, they
like
say.
The firm too. Just come with me. Like, if you have something, it's not the end of the world. Just figure out, here's what happened. Here's what I think we should do. What do you think? Then it's fine. Don't come in with every situation that the fucking firm is on fire. No, it's not. There's a work through. Just start to think about it.
Well, they say that stress is and I don't know who said this. I was watching a
Plato.
real, no.
Socrates?
No.
That was a
Someone not that
joke.
great. They said that stress is inaction.
If you have a solution,
Right.
there's no longer stress.
Yeah. And then my husband the other day, so I'm like not proud about this, but because we've been moving so much, we're so privileged. And here I am upset because things aren't moving quick enough. And he was like, Maria, you have to choose your luxury. You have the luxury to go and get a hotel. You don't have the luxury to be upset about stupid shit.
Well, I like that. Don't sweat the small stuff. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like every time people come with all these issues, like, do you really care about, like, think about all the things in your world and the planet, things that are going on with you. Is this something you really fucking care about? I like to say that I have to move the wheel on something every day.
How many companies do you have?
Probably 5, 6.
Dude, I can barely handle one.
Video game, it's going to launch soon. We have
A video game?
Oh man, we were, oh yeah.
Wait,
We're taking Dungeons and Dragons and digitizing it. Essentially, we have a new game where like you can
what's Dungeons and Dragons?
it's so creative because you really could do anything you want. If you're fighting somebody or doing an action, you have to roll dice to see if your percentage to do that thing happens. The person that's creating the experience is like one of your friends that's creating the game.
Okay.
And they have to be able to pivot quickly depending on what you choose to do. But that's what the drag in the game is, that it takes that person so long to create new maps and experiences and adventures and bring out different monsters you might have to fight. Well, our game is going to automate all of that. So you can do it quickly and it'll automate the scores and leveling up and all that. So you can just like role play and have fun the whole time. But I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds
We
really
play a lot with lawyers and it's really funny to see people do stupid things. I'm in a campaign right now and everybody's looking for the princess who ran away.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know it's me. I'm masquerading as a young boy, but I'm in disguise this whole time. It's very fun.
You're so funny.
I'm going to, my brother Brad, I'm going to stab him in the back and kill him next to camp. He doesn't know it yet, but he's on to me and he's going to die. No one else will know. They'll just know that Brad's character doesn't wake up that night.
Oh, I'm going to send him this clip.
Don't.
Yes.
Oh, he'll get it afterwards. We did one for a year.
No, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to have him pull it and send it to him.
We did one for a year and we let me and my twin brother in on our little brother. We wanted to make him cry and we made him cry.
Did you really?
Yeah, because we saved him. I want to cry thinking about it. We got so emotional in this game. It was so funny.
Really?
We were sent, Brad and our characters, they didn't know we're sent from the future. It was like a Terminator theme.
How do you have time?
Oh God, we don't have time, but but it's funny. It's like you make time for things that are fun.
And that you enjoy.
Yeah. And it's camaraderie. It's a bunch of lawyers in our office play together and it's our bonding.
But this is the digital one that you're
Digital
creating?
one, yeah.
So you already have it.
We have it and we're essentially beta testing it. And we can play it virtually so we can put the kids to bed and play for a couple hours at night, log on and everybody play. And it's just hilarious. And I just try to make everybody laugh. Like we were finding ants and my character kept going around going, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant.
How do you think of this shit? It just comes to you.
Yeah, it just comes to me.
You're such a character.
Yeah, it's fun.
There's no way you could do all this if you weren't an amazing delegator. There's just no fucking way. And then you live like such a chill life half the time.
You don't have to own 100% of everything, including your work. If you bring other people that are good, and I think about like a case, like a company, you don't have to own 100% of that case or do 100% of the work. You can give equity to somebody else that's good at what they do. You can bring a venture capitalist. They'll give you money for a percentage to make sure that things happen the right way. That's like partnering with another law firm, right? It's the same type of issue. And I think that's how you can really grow, have more fun, and then end up making a lot more money, because if you make 50%
Right.
on everything, it's a lot more than 100% of your limited view of things.
Yeah.
So my non-negotiables are like, I have to take my kids to school in the morning. I like to pick them up. I'm not available from 2:45 to 3:15 because it's picking up kids' time and bringing them home.
And now you have multiple.
Like multiples.
I saw that your wife posted about that.
Now they're 2 different schools.
So we started homeschooling.
I talked to my wife about this, and I have a potential teacher you want to do. And do you know Stephen Longo in Arizona?
His name sounds
You should interview him. He's freaking awesome.
I always wanted to homeschool. I feel like I just like to go against the grain though.
Yep.
And my husband was like, no. And then about a year ago, he was like, you know what? As entrepreneurs, I really think that we need to teach our kids to be entrepreneurs. And I think school kind of knocks that out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped at that. I was like, okay, let's move to Miami and I'm going to homeschool. So we found a teacher that assists other homeschool families, whether the parents are homeschooling or they're going through a private teacher. So she helped us find the private teacher and she sets the curriculum. She tests the kids. It's really academic. But the thing that I am like so blown away with, and you probably haven't experienced this yet because your kids are a bit younger, is that my kids used to be really angry when they would come home from school and they would fight a lot amongst themselves. And now they are the happiest kids in the world.
Interesting. That's what everybody says.
They don't fight. They get along better. So we've started kind of like poking at it because we've always told them, look, if you want to go to school, you can. Like, I'm not going to like force this on you. And I don't want to cry, but they've been opening up about how much bullying there is.
Oh, yeah. That's the number one thing why I would do it.
And it's great. Well, in your case, if I were you, and this is what I would do with my daughter, if they're going to go to school once they're like 10, has to be an all-girls school. Not a Catholic school, but an all-girls. And they've done a lot of studies as to how much better girls perform when there aren't boys in their class.
My wife went to an all-girls women's college. She went to Champ College, yeah. That's interesting. What I do is I just threaten every fucking child in my kid's class.
I mean,
like she started when I did a walk around and look kids in the eyes, did the whole 2 eyes look at you and say, I see you. Don't be looking at my kid like that. Because that's what my dad used to do. My dad would literally threaten children. If
kids are so fucking
or their dads.
mean.
He would go show up at their house. I remember my dad, like, this kid was being mean to me, like an older kid at the bus stop. My dad's, who said that to you? He said, let's go up to his house. So my dad took me up to his house, knocked on the door. He said, hey, is this your son right here? He goes, yeah. He's like, he's teasing my boy at the bus stop. And if he does it again, I'm coming after you. Like,
I love your dad.
It's so funny. Like, literally threatened his life. And it worked.
Yeah, but see, I just think we're in a different era where that wouldn't even fly, you know?
Yeah, you can do it. What are they going to say? Oh, he was mean to me. Come on.
I don't know. You know, I travel a lot, and even just being able to see them like 15 minutes here and there during school, and honestly, just not even having to get ready in the morning for school, like that was like such a fucking disaster. Like that's actually what really
and
motivated
realizing
us
the schedule,
too.
and you realize how much time is wasted in school.
And we got so many emails like, oh, you know, your child failed this test. You're a private school, like fucking deal with it.
And it also gives you the flexibility to
travel
and do something.
And the teacher will come with us if we want her to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I got to think about this more.
Yeah. Well, I have the
now
contact
back to my Maldives and the underwear.
Yeah.
I can teach my kids at
Well, because the other thing that ends up happening is when they're in school, you end up traveling when everybody else is traveling.
I know. And
so spring break, Christmas, Thanksgiving. And now it's like we can either take the teacher and she can go to museums and like do that type of thing, or we don't take the teacher and it's just like, hey, time off, and they make it up later.
And I worry about the socialization because my kids are little social butterflies, but then they get it because like they're in ballet and piano and all those other things and soccer. So,
well, a good thing about Florida, and I know it's Florida, but they are super pro homeschool. So they have like all these activities for homeschooled kids. So like every Wednesday in October, they'll go to this place and it's like science class all day. And it's a bunch of kids that are homeschooled.
Well, that's awesome.
And they have all these like meetups and things, and like they even
who
give
helps
the
you navigate that? The private teacher helps you do that, I hope.
So we hired a teacher that has 20 homeschool families under her, and she manages the teacher. It is a lot of work, but honestly, I think school is more work because the driving to and from school, the making of lunches, the emotional component, and like all the back and forth. If they have this project and they need to bring cardboard and
it's like a full-time job just keeping up with what they got to do.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And parent-teacher conferences and this and that. This is way better. The other day, 2 days ago, it was my birthday. They're in homeschool. I was like, hey, I'm going to take them for 2 hours for brunch. Then later on, I was like, hey, we're gonna go in the pool for a bit.
I was working at the public pool in the concession stand all summer. And I was like 16 or 17, my buddy and I, and they gave us the fucking key to the concession stand. So we would throw parties at night at the public pool, and like there was no inventory, so we were like, we got too cocky. We were like grilling shit. Like the reason we got caught is we would just put beers and stick them in the ice machine to keep them cold, and we forgot to clear it. So
oh my God.
Swim team came in the next morning and they opened it up and there were just beers everywhere, and we were like, yeah, we resign.
You resigned before you got fired?
Oh yeah. Well, football season starts next week anyway, so we resigned.
That's funny. How old were you? 16?
17 maybe. Why would they give two 17-year-olds the key? Well, they actually gave me the key. And then we would just volunteer
They trusted you.
They volunteer for night watch. We would just watch the pool at night. So we would just invite our friends over and
night watch?
Yeah, night watch.
What the fuck were you watching?
The pool, to make sure nobody broke into the pool. And this is inner city Pittsburgh.
But basically, you had access to
the pool. So and then the cops came once because, again, we got cocky. We were drunk. We turned on the water slide. And I remember going down this water slide and being so drunk I didn't know which way was up when you went into the water. And we were stupid.
That is really stupid.
Dumb. But the cops came and they were like, with my friend Mikey Ferris, Mikey, Bobby, is that you guys? We're like, yeah. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? Turn off the water slide. And we thought we were busted because, again, beer was everywhere. They were just turn it to keep the noise down, you idiots.
But they knew who you were.
They knew who we were.
Why? Was it like a tight community?
Yeah, I mean, that's more community policing because we knew all the police officers. You know, when we would literally be drinking in the woods near our house and they try to break up parties, we'd run from them. It was like a little game, like, you know, cops and robbers.
I feel like it's that our kids just won't experience things like that. Like, you know what I was thinking about? Like, you know when you're little and you doorbell ditch?
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that shit anymore. There's cameras. There's a fucking nest on every single...
I still do that. Like, I go down when people were staying at the same hotel. Like, we were just in Spain with a couple of our friends, and one of our friends was staying 2 doors down from us at the hotel. And every time I'd walk by their room, I would just knock real hard and run.
You knock hard, by the way.
I did a shave and a haircut just to be funny. But no, like, and I always do it and leave my wife standing there. I would run, knock, and she'd be like, what the fuck? And I would run away. I still do it. It's funny.
Wait, can you please record it when you do that?
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Okay, let's go. So it's 2 truths and 1 lie.
Ooh.
So you're going to tell me 3 things about your life. And then I have to tell you which ones are true and which one's the lie. I have to figure out the lie, basically.
I was once arrested for pulling a gun on someone. Okay. I've won 2 game shows.
Okay.
We were originally triplets, but Wallace died as a baby.
There's no way you'd make up the Wallace thing. Like, that would be fucked up. So I'm going to assume that's truth. The game show, that sounds true. The gun, I think you're lying.
The gun is real.
No.
Game show's real. There was no triplet.
Oh, poor Wallace.
Yeah. It was a good name, though. I like that name. With little Wally. No, that was false.
Okay, wait. The gun, please?
Yeah, it was all, I mean, those were just allegations and accusations. So it's a really funny story, but so my twin brother and I were running we were in 16, 17, maybe 18 at this point. We were 18. So we were running a lawn care business. We were always hustlers. So we like saved enough money to buy a truck. We had lawnmowers. We'd like cutting everybody's grass in the neighborhood, driving around and doing these things. And one day, my little brother, who's 7 years younger than us, left his cap gun in our car. Now, this cap gun has an orange fucking thing on the end of it, and it looks like a little pistol. It looks like a fucking cap gun. So all day while we're driving from job to job, and I'm driving, my brother Brad's sitting passenger truck, he's like pretending to hold me at gunpoint, like just as we drive by people, because it was funny to us.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like, oh, haha, like making people a little scared and then laugh, like these kids are just fucking around. So my brother Brad had to go get fitted for his tux for prom. Like, yeah. So I had to drop him off, and I went to go pick up my friend, and we were going to the mall to meet him there. So my friend, who's now a very successful lawyer in DC that does like crazy analytical shit. We grew up in like inner city Pittsburgh, but this kid takes that we told him the gun was still in the car. We told him this story, what we were doing. So he takes the whole new level. Instead of like trying to be funny, he's like pretending to pistol whip me in the car. And like this lady pulls up to us, is like, are you guys okay? And he puts the gun out the window and says, no. Buck, bitch. And I was like, oh no. So she calls the popo and she follows us yelling at us. We're like, oh, whatever. So I go park at the mall. We go and get Brad, and we come out, and there's just cops around my truck. And I'm like, fuck. So we go up and like this lady's yelling at us and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, officer, that happened. And I was like, I'll get in the back of the cop car. And my friend was like, it's a cop cap gun, bitch. He's like, it's an orange cap. And he's yelling. And he ends up getting cuffed and thrown to the back of the car. And Brad is just like, what the fuck, guys? Like, he was just.
You should have been like, it was Brad. Like, I was getting fitted.
Well, he had to drive the truck home. So he had to get, but it was my dad went to pick me up. Was
he pissed?
He was more like laughing at me, like, you're an idiot. Like, we ended up having nothing ended up happening about it. They did community service or something. The 2 game shows. So when I was 9 or 10, one of their neighborhood moms, she worked at WQED, which is what did Pittsburgh, Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers. They did all those public show televisions. They were coming out. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? We were on the pilot for that show, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, that we used to have for kids. And me and Mikey Burns up the street, we won that little pilot game show. And
what did you get for winning?
We were just the pilot. I don't know. They probably gave us like a lunchbox or some shit. I don't know. Or 9 or 10. And then my first year as a lawyer, I won $175,000 on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we find that?
You can.
Really?
Yeah, it's very funny. And
what was the question that like you stopped at?
The Peloponnesian War, which lasted from about 430 to 405 BC, was primarily a conflict between Athens and what other ancient city-state? I know you're an attorney, and I know you know everything. Are you familiar with the Peloponnesian War?
I mean, I wonder if I should just gamble and just say it and just say Sparta. And God, I mean, if it's going to be Sparta up there, I'm going to be pretty angry at myself if I walk away.
How can you be angry at walking out of here with $175,000?
I agree.
She agrees. I think I'm going to drop out of school. I'd hate to say it, but I'm going to drop out of school.
For giggles.
Yeah, I need to know.
For giggles, let's play this out. What would you have said?
If I was just going to, if I had to save, I would have just said Sparta.
You would have said Sparta. You would have been right. You would have had $300,000. Our Top Gun attorney didn't have what it takes, but you're walking out of here with $175,000. That's a good day. That's a good day. Remember the little agreement that we had? But there's the camera. Let's hear you say it.
My name is Bob Simon. I might be an attorney with 20 straight years of education, but I'm not smarter than a 5th grader.
You proved it. We'll be right back.
And I got the show because I was trying to hustle cases. I went to some random chiropractor's office because I was working for a small PI firm, and I was just trying to hustle business. So he invited me to this art show at his chiropractic office in West LA. And I just went to try to meet people, and I was just talking to this woman, and she ended up being a producer for this game show. And my brother and I are talking to her, and she's like, do you guys like game shows? Like, fuck, like, we love it. Like, it's our favorite thing. I love trivia. So we went down and we auditioned the next day for Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? And I got a call the next day that I'm airing the following Monday, and I got to come down and film. And Brad, he ended up doing Trivial Pursuit.
And how did he do?
He won. Like, the most you can win is $25,000. He won it all. He swept everybody.
Really?
He was on the show with the.
How are you guys so good at this? Did you grow up watching?
We're like, we love that stuff. If
Really?
you play like that
Never
movie
playing a
Seen
board
It
game with you.
or board game, Brad is like next level, knows everything about everything. But I just studied.
crazy.
My aunt taught I think 5th grade or whatever, and then or 6th grade, but she sent me all the material, like FedEx to me all their material that they were studying, and I just took off work and just studied 5th grade material.
Did you really?
Yes. But that question is not a 5th grade question that they asked me for that amount of money. But the $100,000 one was harder, but I knew
what's
it.
For $100,000, Bob, here's the question. Before becoming president, Theodore Roosevelt served as U.S. vice president under what other president?
And I knew it was Teddy Roosevelt
Mm-hmm.
because I had just watched, I would just, during my downtime of studying, I would just watch documentaries, and they had a documentary about Teddy Roosevelt. So I fucking knew this cold. So there's
Wow.
a question, you can hear the audience be like, oh, like, dude, that's hard. And it wasn't a multiple choice, it was just like, what is the answer? And I was like, Jeff Foxworthy is the host. I said, Jeff, everybody thinks that John F. Kennedy is the youngest American president, but he's not. He was the youngest elected American president because in 1901, William McKinley was assassinated and Teddy Roosevelt came in and he was the youngest American president. I hit the button. The audience is like, oh, because it's like, you don't know if that's the right answer or not, but it was. But this little
crazy.
girl named Olivia saved me once with a question. You could do a kid save with a 5th grader, and I got one wrong. And she's little girl Olivia. Yeah,
That's cute.
I did a couple jokes, and they cut them. And the Jeff Foxworthy, he's like, "Bob, leave the jokes to me, man." He's like, because the show has to air for you to get paid, and I was sweating it because they almost didn't air my episode. I was like, was it because my jokes are really bad?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I would be disqualified after one question. Literally.
Oh,
like
man.
I would never want to do something like that.
Oh, it's fun.
I don't know the answer to any of those questions.
They
Because
asked-
I didn't speak English in 5th grade.
Yeah.
So I missed all of that.
Yeah, you would not do well on that show then.
No.
But you might do on pop culture.
Probably not.
All right.
Try. Ask me a question.
Or what is Spider-Man's real name?
I have no fucking idea.
Oh my God, you are bad at this.
I told you. What is it?
Peter Parker.
Oh, I knew that.
See, you did.
I did.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I remember. Like, if you had said Peter Parker, who is that? I would have said Spider-Man.
I like this one game where you, we just made up this game where you have to, if you're around a group of friends, you have to name an actor, actress, or movie, and you go around, but you can't repeat the same thing. So if I say Tom Cruise, you have to then go name a movie that Tom Cruise is in. And the next person then has to name an actor from that movie, and you can't repeat the same thing. But you can't get stumped if you can't stump somebody. And it's like, but people play like some character actor that's been in like 3 movies, and they try to stump you, and it's really funny. Like Charles S. Dutton, he's been in like 3 movies, but you can fuck somebody.
I have no idea who that is.
He was a show called Rock. I think he was Rock, the old sitcom.
But can you use your phone? I assume no.
No.
Oh, I
Hell no.
wouldn't last.
Hell no.
Literally, I've watched movies, and then like 10 years later, we watch it again, and like 5 minutes before it ends, I'm like, fuck, I've watched this before. And then it hits me like what's about to happen, and I'm like, oh fuck.
The worst is if you read a book and be like, oh my God, I read this after like 50 pages. I don't do that, but I know people that do that. But it's almost likely I could get like I'll set the over under at 5 movies George Clooney's been in. Like we do stuff like that, and you just have to think and name the movies. This is a fun social drinking game.
I can't think of any movies.
Yes, you
George
can.
I'm really bad at this shit.
You can do like Oceans 9 through 15 and get them. Sequels are easy.
I would not even remember that that's what he was in.
See, yeah, maybe you are bad at these things.
I'm really bad at these things.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with it.
That's okay. You're at peace with it.
Yeah, I'm totally
Choose your luxury, Maria.
Yeah, I have to choose it, and that's not it.
It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. This was fun. I mean, I missed the gym to do this early, but it's all good.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't need to be consistent.
No, not at all.
No.
No.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Ciao for now.
Thank you so much to everything Bob shared with us today. If you found this story valuable, please share it with someone you want to see succeed. Subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way to help others discover the show.